You are not comparing yourself to one person. You are comparing yourself to the sum of the others. I've spent a lot of time in my life comparing myself to others. I was horrible at it when I grew up. I know that I always was competing with a few boys in my class about getting the best grades. And I remember one time where I actually had 5 mistakes on my math test. And it was like the end of the world. It was a disaster, and I felt so embarrassed and horrible. Not only because I got 5 mistakes because I knew I could do better, but also because these boys actually beat me to the competition. Then when I got into my 20s, I had a gang of friends. And one of them, she was amazingly good at matching. So let's call her Anne. And Anne, she was one of my best friends. And every time we were at her house, her skirt were matching her shoes, were matching the tissues. And she had like newly baked like cinnamon buns on the kitchen. And I remember that I always felt so welcomed. It was so cozy. It was so just a really nice feeling of kind of comfort and colors in her house. And I was always thinking that I was kind of a bad person because I wasn't able to do that. And then our other friend, let's call her Sophie. And Sophie was the healthy one, like the active one. And she was exercising, I think, 5 or 6 times a week at this time, which for me was something I never, ever done at that time. And I was looking at her and I was like, how did she become so active? And she's always like doing all this exercise and doing the running and running like half marathons. And why can't I do that? And then I beat myself up for not being able to do that. And then one of my school friends, again, let's call him Peter, that ended up having the best grades. He just went straight into university. He went straight from university into like a super high paying career in a very successful consultancy company. And I was looking at my career path, which was a total mess. When we got kids, I started comparing my kids' lunchboxes to the lunchboxes of other people, other kids in my kindergarten, my kids' kindergarten. And I don't know if you know about it, but in Norway, every parent has to actually like deliver a lunchbox with the kid to kindergarten that they can eat in the lunch break. I saw all of these other moms and they were putting like cucumber smiley faces and like very colorful things in there. And I was just literally like, there was a loaf of bread with some kind of cheese or sausage or something on it. It was like super basics. Maybe I added a cucumber, but it was not a smiley face cucumber. And I then was feeling bad with myself a lot of times because I felt that I wasn't good enough. I compared my house to Anne's. I compared my exercise habits to Sophie's. I compared my career and my income to that guy that I went to school with. And I compared my lunchboxes to all the other parents that were doing better than me with their lunchboxes. And this had to go, which was me ending up being burnt out because I never, ever felt good enough. I felt like I was a failure in a lot of different parts of my life. However, after having done this good girl burnout and being out for some years and doing a lot of self-development, there was one day where it was like a big realization hit me. Maria, you are not comparing yourself to one person. You are comparing yourself to the sum of the others. You are comparing yourself not like individually to one person, because of course, Anne, even if she had a great house, she didn't have the exercise habit as Sophie. And even if Sophie had the exercise habit, she didn't have the career and the income that this guy from school had. And I was actually comparing myself to the sum of them. And I realized if you continue to do that, Maria, you are doomed for failure. You're doomed to go around for the whole rest of your life and feeling like a failure, because this is not how comparison works. And I had enough maths in school to understand and to learn that when you are to compare two values, they have to be like comparable. They have to be on a straight line. That means, just using maths as an example, you can compare -5 and 10 because they are on a linear scale. However, how do you put humans into a linear scale? Like, humans are so complex. We are so unique. We are so different. We have so many facets, so many things to us that it's just totally, sorry for using that word, to try to put them into a scale, which means the comparison is mathematically non-valid. Like, it's not possible. It's just not possible. So why are so many of us using so much time trying to compare ourselves to others? Because what we do is we look at other people, and especially now with the age of social media and everything, everyone presents their shiny version in social media. And that's what other people see. However, when we look inside ourselves, we see all the messiness, all the things that are fucked up, all the things that we're not good at, all the shame and guilt and like crazy emotions that we have, all the ups and downs. And when we try to go from that place, from our internal view of ourselves, and compare ourselves to the shiny version of everyone else, and even worse, the sum of the shiny version of everyone else, that just doesn't work. We are doomed to feel horrible if we do that. So from this time, and this was actually it was like a lightning that struck me. And one day when I understood this, I was like, okay, so this is just not valid. And of course, it didn't mean that the day after I never ever compared myself anymore. But now every time when I do compare myself, when I find myself looking at someone's career or income or health, like activity level or lunchboxes or whatever, I can stop myself from going there. Because this is not a healthy way to go. To go and to think about how do I perform compared to others, it's just not how it's supposed to be. The big thing that I already was kind of mentioning is that we look inside ourselves and we see everything that is messy and not complete and that feels off and that we're embarrassed, ashamed about. Also, we aren't able to see what we're actually really, really, really good at. Most of us. For example, let's take this guy in my class. From he was 5 years old, he knew what he was going to have as a career. And I think it was because his father was doing the exact same thing that he ended up doing. I don't know really this, but I think so. And he was just having this super clear vision of his future path. So he went to school to get into university. He knew exactly which kind of direction to go with university, which subjects to choose, like which degree to take. And he went there to this super successful career. My career path was totally different. I didn't know when I was 5 years old what I was supposed to do. I chose university because of this guy, and the other guy was going to the same university. And I thought since I was good in school, that's what I should do as well. And then when I came out of university, I realized I took a master's degree in something that wasn't really my passion. And it wasn't really what I was supposed to do here. And it didn't really resonate with my life purpose and all the things that I feel like I'm here to do. And then I had to do a detour. Then I had to go somewhere else. I had to make a new choice. I had to adjust. And I wasn't able to do what he was doing because I'm different than him. And when I looked at him before, I was thinking he is like so dedicated. He is so patient. He is so resilient. He's so whatever, smart, intelligent, since he was able to do that. And I'm not. However, for him, maybe that was easy. Maybe that was how it was kind of supposed to go for him. I know that there are some things that I do, and I do think speaking, when I come from the right place, that I can speak so it really touches people. And that's something that is meaningful to me, and it's something that I love to do. And I know that some people may look at me and think, wow, Maria's so good at that. But for me, that wasn't a super hard path to go, because I always liked talking in front of people. When I was a kid, I went to school on the 17th of May, which is the national holiday of Norway. I was doing the speech when I was 12, in front of 650 people in the schoolyard. It was parents and kids, and I was fine with that. I wasn't scared. I was just liking it. I was liking to go in front and speak and be a representative and try to motivate and change people. So my speaking career, although I'm not saying that it's easy to become a good speaker, because on the way I realized how kind of hard it is to actually become good at something, even speaking, which was a passion for me. But because I had this drive, because I had this enjoyment, because I have this interest, because I had this natural kind of inclination towards doing that, I have been practicing a lot. So sometimes when we compare ourselves to others and we're like, wow, they're so good at it. They must be so resilient. They must be so smart. They must be so whatever it is that we don't feel like at that time. It's because it's natural to them. I'm not saying that they haven't put in the work, because most of them, most likely they have, but they have probably put in the work because they have some kind of interest, because they have some kind of passion, because they have a natural just drive towards doing those things. So when we look at ourselves, and we look at the things we are good at, sometimes we're like kind of dismissing them because but that's not a big thing. Like, I'm good at speaking, so what? So we are dismissing and undervaluing our own strengths because they kind of came easy to us. But we are overestimating and overvaluing other people's strengths, at least sometimes, because it wouldn't have been easy for us to get there. All humans are so different, and we have so many things that we can be good at and so many passions. So just learning to understand that when other people look at you, there are some things that you do where you are probably in your natural passion. You are doing it because you have been liking it for a long time. You have put a lot of hours in because you love to do it. And now you're super good at it and you don't even see it yourself. And when other people look at you, they see that and they're like, wow. And just owning that wow from other people, that's something that I'm still working on. And that's something that I think every human should work on, because that's how we realize that we are equal, that we are equally worthy, that we don't have to prove ourselves, that we don't have to be good at everything that everyone else is good at. There's this misunderstanding, and I think we are grown up in where schools do that as well. Like, they try to help you focus on all the things you're not good at to kind of improve on them, where it would be much, much easier and better to work with the things that you are already great at and see how can you improve in them. Because that's where you shine. That's where you have the drive. That's where you have some natural instinct or ability that can take you wherever you want to go. We have to fix the bad things about ourselves. I don't think that's a good idea. I'm not saying that we should never look at the things we're not good at and try to be better. But I still think that so many people can stop the comparing, and we can start wowing ourselves from the things we're really good at. And that's how we can make a difference. That's how we can be role models. That's how we can teach other people something. So one of the challenges here is being able to choose what is important to you and not. So at that time, back when my kids went to kindergarten and had the lunch boxes, it wasn't really important to me to create the fancy lunch boxes. Of course, I wanted my kids to eat relatively healthy, but it wasn't like my main interest and passion to actually make sure that the lunch boxes looked nice every day. When I visited my friend who had all the matching things, it wasn't something that I chose to put my energy into. And how can we even think that we can get good at anything if we are choosing not to put energy into it? So when you start comparing yourself, and I start comparing myself, I found like a new way of actually making myself stop for a while and just think, is this really something that matters to me? Because for my friend, I'm sure Anne, she got tremendous joy out of having matching skirt and shoes and tissues and curtains. I'm 100% sure. She loved it. It was her passion, and she was so into colors, and she ended up being a designer, and she does these things professionally now. So for her, that was a priority. But for me, it wasn't a priority. At that time, for me, exercising 5 times a week wasn't a priority. Now it is. This is a challenge because social media and everything external is just bombarding us with all these messages about what we should care about. What are the important things? But to be honest, there's so many things to focus on that we can't focus on them all. We need to choose. We need to make choices for ourselves on where to put our energy and where to put our focus and where to put our power to do things and to get good at things. At some point, and as you can hear, I was expecting and hoping myself to be good at everything. And if you grew up like a good girl and trying to somebody tried to tell you that, I feel sorry for you, because that's not how it is. Like, nobody can be good at everything, and we need to choose. We need to make choices of where do we put our time, where do we put our energy, where do we put our focus. So recently I started playing volleyball here in Hoi An, where I live. with a group of friends. And I'm not especially good at it. The first time I was joining, I sent them a warning message like, I haven't been playing for 20 years. I probably won't get the ball across the net at all. And I wasn't that horrible, but I wasn't good at it either. And I just hear some of them, and they are actually watching YouTube videos like every single day, watching like volleyball tricks YouTube videos. And I'm just realizing, okay, I would love to be better at volleyball, but I'm not so into it that I will dedicate like 10 minutes of my time every single day to watch volleyball videos. That's not my priority. I'd rather watch these 10 minutes looking into something else. This is a super important exercise for everyone living in this society. I think because all the like bombardment of ads, of messages, of, we know the world is going faster than ever and everything is available on the internet. Our responsibility around choosing where to put our energy is actually like, it's getting harder and harder to do it because it's so easy to get distracted. So I can use an example for social media. Like I have a lot of Facebook friends and Instagram people that I follow, and they get thousands and thousands of likes. And I'm like, I should have kind of gotten to that place where I could get thousands and thousands of likes, but I haven't put in any work around it. I haven't put it in yet. So my choice now is, do I want to put it in now to get to that place? Or is it okay to me to only have 10 or 20 likes, or maybe 100 on a good day? Every single day we're choosing, and our interests and passions and focus can change as well. I wasn't into that getting thousands of likes in social media 3 years ago, but maybe now I am making a choice where I make that more important. Maybe I come a day where I want to become better at volleyball. I don't know, maybe not. But but you have the choice every single day to just put in the efforts. And again, they say that it takes 10,000 hours to become a master. And I also think for at least some of us, we need also to be reminded that we can't expect ourselves to be like super good at something before we try it. It actually takes practice. It actually takes time. Even if we have like a talent and an interest and something that kind of drives it, we need to put down time. We need to actually do it. I wouldn't become a good volleyball player without playing. So that's why now I'm actually out playing. And of course, I would have become even better if I was also willing to do the 10-minute watching YouTube videos to become a better. But at least now I'm out there and I'm doing it. And you choose every single day where you put your energy, what your priorities are, and what do you want to become great at. It's probably better for the world and for yourself if you choose to put your energy on getting even better at something that you already like, you're already relatively good at, you're already doing quite well, where other people wow you already, than trying to fix some area of your life where you're just kind of not feeling like you have the passion or the interest or the drive or whatever it is. So what I actually started doing when I realized that I was comparing myself to others and that it isn't viable, it isn't like possible even to compare yourself to another human. So whenever now my brain kind of goes there, I have some kind of internal beep sound, which is kind of the like it's the buzzer in America's Got Talent when they kind of buzz people out, like you're out. So to just stop the train of thought, you can go there forever and you can never get out of it if you're not able to stop yourself. So whenever you're realizing that you're doing it, find a way to stop it. And for me, it literally was like, the more I did that to myself, the easier it was not to go down that way the next time. So if we were to compare humans, somebody has to decide, like, are smaller shoes better than bigger shoes? Are like fixed earlobes better than loose earlobes? I don't even know what they're called. Is light hair better than dark hair? Like, there's so absurd things that we would have to decide what is better and not. And now I'm not even talking about our skills, our personalities. Like, is being extrovert better than being an introvert? I know that some people will say yes, but not all times. Like, there's this comparison of humans is just absurd. It's just not, it isn't working. It isn't coming together. And I know that when I talked about this before, some people have told me, Maria, you almost get angry when you talk about this. And yes, I get angry when I talk about this because this is giving us so much pain and it's preventing us from being the amazing humans that we are. And it's preventing us from shining in all aspects where we can shine. And it gives us so much like guilt and shame and stupid idiot feelings. I would talk more about that in another episode, because I'm not really saying that these feelings are shitty, because they are pointers to things that we can actually heal and kind of grow from. But they feel really shitty in the moment. And just going down that downward spiral of comparing yourself to others, it isn't worth it. And if you can stop that in yourself, and you can start helping the people around you to stop that in them as well, I think we're making the world a better place again.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode.
To dig deeper, visit awesome.com/scaling life. That's awesm.com/scaling life. You'll find show notes, resources, and links mentioned in this episode, as well as links to our socials.
If you like what you heard, please rate and review us on the podcast platform of your choice. Your feedback is so important to help more entrepreneurs to discover this show.
Our goal is to provide inspiration, and we hope you'll continue scaling alongside us. Thanks for your support, and see you next time.